WTV 25 Victoria.
Hello and welcome to Community Crossroads. Here's a look at what you'll see on today's show. How the community is celebrating Juneteenth this year. The state championship Ganado Maiden softball team relives their big win and what it took to get there. We'll meet a young girl whose birthday wish is to make a difference, and a new option coming for substance abuse treatment in the Crossroads. We are now joined by Daniel Barrientos, the CEO of Billy T. Catan Recovery Outreach. And thank you so much, Daniel, for coming in. We appreciate it.
You're very welcome. Thank you for having me.
All right. So Billy T. Catan has been within our community for over 25 years now. How has the approach to substance abuse and treatment changed over the years?
We've had to work really hard, right? I mean, there's always been a stigma associated with substance use and mental health as well. And so, we've done really well educating the community, about, that addiction is a disease, just like, diabetes or heart disease or whatever. And so we've done a really good job of just getting the word out about what we do and that everybody can have a, substance abuse addiction.
Mm-hmm. And talk a little bit more about the stigma. That is one thing that, really talking about substance abuse and getting the word out there, it is one of the keys to people getting treatment and people, getting the resources they need.
Right. And for a long time and for many years, people just considered it to be something that people had willpower over, right? That people could just quit whenever they wanted to. But, the real thing is that, it starts as a choice, but then the addiction takes over. And there's, a lot of different things that happen in the brain with addiction that, it becomes an addiction and it becomes more of a medical issue. And so, we're there to help people who are struggling with that.
Are you seeing any specific challenges now that maybe are newer or kind of trends within, people who are seeking treatment or types of treatment, that type of thing?
Well, the obvious right now is the funding, right? The funding cuts throughout throughout the United States. It has to do with substance use, but here locally. I think just the people knowing that we exist, that we're here to help, and so I think it's just a continual process of us educating the community that we're here, that we're able to help, and so that kind of helps people know that there's help for people here in the community.
How do you work with other local organizations, schools, nonprofits, law enforcement, to be able to address some of these issues?
It takes the whole community. There's a lot of different organizations that we work with in town because substance abuse it has a lot of different things associated with it. Some people are suffering from housing. Some people are suffering, they can't pay their bills. They can't afford the electricity or food. All these different issues. So that takes the whole community working together to address those common issues within that client.
Mm-hmm. So it really is a network of organizations working together.
Absolutely. And although we serve obviously the adult population, but the whole family is affected, as we know, and so it takes everybody working together, even the schools and Salvation Army, all these different nonprofits here in town as well.
What are some of the biggest barriers that people face as far as getting help when they need it, or getting a loved one help that needs it?
Yeah, a lot of times they think that they can't afford it. That treatment is really expensive, and in some areas it is, right? But here in Victoria, we're lucky that we have funding from the state, and so we can help people who maybe not be able to can't afford treatment. And so a lot of times that's one of the things, and so we're here to help, and we have the resources to be able to do that. Another thing that we do is we also accept insurance, so that's private insurance, Medicaid, Medicare, all these different things. So one of the things that 10 years ago we really wanted to do is knock down some of those barriers, because funding seems to be one of the things that people worry about. And so now we're able to really take anyone in the community, whether you have insurance or not, we're here to help whoever.
And when you hear treatment, we just have a few seconds left, but when you hear treatment, what exactly does that mean? Are there a lot of different options, or is it,
Absolutely. So right now we currently offer outpatient treatment, and so it can be anywhere from 3 months to 9 months. So it just depends on what that person needs. And so they come in for individual counseling, and then in the evenings they come in for group education. And so it's a combination of both. So they're seeing the therapist, and then they're also receiving education as well.
Okay. And you mentioned that that is outpatient.
Correct.
There is a new facility that is coming to the Crossroads that will provide
Absolutely.
inpatient substance abuse treatment. So right after the break, we'll be talking more with Daniel about that. Stay with us. We are back with Daniel Barrientos, the CEO of Billy T. Catan Recovery Outreach. And we just heard about the outpatient services that
Yes.
you provide and more about Billy T. Catan, but you broke ground on a new inpatient facility just earlier this year, right,
Yes.
at the beginning of the year. That how is this going to be able to provide additional services to those in the Crossroads that need more intense treatment than what's provided outpatient?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're really excited about the construction of Hope Ranch. It's been a long time coming. When I started back at Billy T, I think it's been 11 years ago now, that was one of the things that we talked about as a board, is one day doing an inpatient facility, because, Victoria is located in the region of Texas that's very rural, and we have all these surrounding communities that don't have a lot of resources. And, over the years at Billy T, we noticed that a lot of people needed a higher level of care, which is inpatient. And so about 3 years ago or so, we started really exploring the possibility of constructing an inpatient facility. And here we are 3 years later on the brink of opening one. So it's really exciting for the community. It's really, for people who need that high level of care, have a level of care that maybe they don't want to leave Victoria, because they have a job or they have other commitments. And so being able to have that here in Victoria is going to be huge for us.
Mm-hmm. So as an inpatient, they would still be able to work and have some of the regular routines that.
Well, for inpatient care, it would be a stay between 30 to 45 days.
Okay.
It just depends on what they need, but they will stay there. It's not a come and go.
Okay.
And so they'll stay there for 30 to 45 days, and then after that, by having our outpatient, we'll be able to offer that comprehensive treatment where when they get done with inpatient, then they'll go to our outpatient facility and do another 3 months there. And so now you're providing the longer care model, which in turn provides better outcomes.
Yeah, continuation.
Exactly.
Same, working
Right.
with the same people.
Absolutely.
And that type of thing.
Yes,
so.
Absolutely.
So what have the options been? Or I guess what are the options now if
Right.
someone is needing inpatient?
Well, if somebody needs residential or inpatient care now, we have to refer them right out to either San Antonio, Corpus, sometimes as far as San Angelo, because the state-funded treatment is hard to get, and state-funded beds are hard to get to, because there's always a long wait list. And so you can imagine somebody comes to our office and they need that higher level of care, and then we have to tell them, you got to wait 3 weeks before you can get a bed. Well, by that time, the person may not even come back to go to treatment, right? Mm-hmm. And so by us having additional beds here in Victoria, we'll be able to filter them in a lot quicker.
So what's the timeline? You broke ground in February. What are you looking at as far as construction, getting
right.
everything moving and
yes.
open?
It's a process, right? Like with anything else, but we're about to pour concrete, and so that'll be coming up here in the next couple of weeks, and after that the building will start going up. And so what the contractor is telling us that we should be done by April of next year. So it seems like a long way, but how time flies, right? So it'll be here before you know it. And so, hopefully by May or so of next year, we'll be able to open up.
Okay. And you're really needing the community to be a part of this. Talk to me about ways that people can get involved and really help the mission and make sure that this is a successful
absolutely. So
project.
We're a nonprofit, right? And so it takes the whole community to build something like this, and it's not cheap, right? And so, but we were very careful with our budget, and the facility cost about $7.6 million or so, and so currently we needed $3.8 million, and so I wrote a grant to the Maybe Foundation, and we were awarded a challenge grant. So we got $1 million from them, but we have to raise the other 2.8 before they give us the $1 million. And so that's where the community and businesses and other people can help, is us to get to that 2.8 million that we still need to raise, mm-hmm. and then we'll be done with the campaign. And so there's a catch: we have to be done by next April. So we have to raise the 2.8 by next April. So any amount helps, right? And that's why we're having a fundraiser with our annual fundraiser, Hope and Recovery Luncheon in October of this year, II, and Charles Haley, the Dallas Cowboy. I think he played for the 49ers. He has 5 Super Bowls. He'll be our guest speaker, and he's suffered with co-occurring disorders as well, and so we're really excited to bring him on board. But buy a table, make a donation. Every bit helps.
All right, so you can attend the fundraiser, make a donation to the fundraiser, or just reach out to Billy T. Catan and find out how to make a donation to them to help them reach that goal, be successful. So
absolutely.
Thank you so much, Daniel, for coming in, and we'll continue following the progress of Hope Ranch and great service that we'll have in our community.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, stay with us. Coming up, we'll find out about a Juneteenth celebration coming up.